Cool, fabulous. Started the recording. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today. I'm actually broadcasting from my home, so if you see a little dog running around, please don't be alarmed. This is the last webinar in our three-part series. However, it is a standalone session. I think it's going to really help focus everyone on where they are going and how they're going to get there. Today we're going to go through three categories and a bonus looking forward to 2021. I'm going to start with some insights into the current market caused by COVID, then evolving your brand, and then funnel this down into aligning your campaigns, all with growing the business in mind. Of course, we have the Q&A session at the end, so feel free to throw in questions for me as we go through. Right, so companies have been using digital marketing for years to communicate to their audiences. However, since COVID, this has become an essential for businesses as out-of-home advertising, such a tongue twister, has been on the decline with lockdowns across the globe. Plus, with GDPR coming into play, it is getting harder to gain that information for your contacts. But digital is allowing us to reach audiences all over the world. Analyze data and home in on those specific target groups. They're just some of the few benefits that shifting to online has. No matter if we're talking about social media, email marketing, content writing, PR, SEO, PPC, digital marketing offers a scale or reach, level of control, and a highly accessible price point, which traditional marketing simply can't compete with. If you take a look on the screen, we've got a diagram here looking at traditional versus digital marketing, reach, flexibility, measurability, the conversion, interactivity, return on investment, and the upfront costs, proving what's better. So the world lives online. So I mentioned in my previous webinars that, the world is shifting to online. I've already had a family Zoom call. It's been a week of lockdown. Why? But there's no point in hoping to reach your audience through those data tactics. We need to target our audiences where we know they are, and that's online. Now, digital marketing not only can help cast a net wide, with, let's face it, 3.8 billion social media users, it can be an effective way to get your message out far and wide. However, it allows for a specific targeted campaigns to a particular audience you want to focus on as well. It's not only social and family meetups that have gone online. Think about written articles being seen in industry magazines. It used to be pinnacle for businesses to be published in prestigious print magazines. But with everybody reading the news on their phone, having your story online means it's communicated to a bigger mass market, as well as supporting your website search rankings. You could be reaching thousands instead of hundreds now. Power to the business. This is one of my favorite ones to write. Now, the online world provides so much power to businesses with where their content sits and who sees it. For example, when you're sending out an email campaign, you can send it to a specific database you have with a specific message tailored to them. It might be that you've received a new product that will complement a product that that database is already using. You can then look in there, see exactly who's clicked on the email, who's opened it, giving your sales and marketing team a starting point, and then you can track who's converted, giving you that return on investment. So, talking of target messagings, PPC and social advertising can also be a great way to reach that particular target market with options to actually hit those specific locations as well. Not to mention that a lot of platforms lowering the cost of advertising at the moment, especially Facebook, during this time. So now is the best time to get cracking with it. In both cases, A/B and split testing is going to be the way forward. It gives you the opportunity to trial your messaging, your imagery, and call to actions to identify what's building credibility and increasing your profile with your desired audience, ensuring you are reaching your business goals and objectives. So during the pandemic, it's been crucial for businesses to stay relatable and show their human side. We've been inviting clients and prospects into our homes, as you can see now. But at the end of the day, if you think about this, a silent brand can be perceived poorly by customers. They might think the business is failing, that they're struggling at the moment, and it's not an image that you want to have. B2C have always been a bit more relatable and on the human side as kind of a generalist statement when it comes to marketing, as they've been using social media for years to connect their consumers, to connect to their consumers. And COVID has only amplified this. B2B, on the other hand, is much newer. It's a much newer approach, like I said, but now inviting these people into our homes. Whilst in B2B sales, you build rapport and get personal with individual, the lines are becoming slightly more blurred and the stigma around B2B is starting to relax, meaning there is a huge opportunity for growth here. Now, your business objectives have changed, so how can we evolve your brand in line with this external influence? The best thing I've read this year was from The Drum, evaluating the massive success Pepsi had with their Taste the Different Taste advert, which I believe came out in the 80s. And this can be translated down to, even if you're a small company at a disadvantage, if you change the ground rules, you can have a huge impact. My previous webinar, Understanding When to Outsource, which is on our YouTube channel, will give you the sources that you need to identify how to change the ground rules if you weren't sure on where this is before. However, if you think about it, this shows you the power of brand advertising and marketing. Messaging. Staying true to your core values should be shaping your long-term strategy and help some of you, it should be shaping your long-term strategy. I'm getting all tongue-tied with all the S's now. Some of you have also may have found that your core values might have changed slightly during the pandemic, but this should be what's shaping your content moving forward. Now, the average time individuals are spending online is becoming more important for bite-sized targeted content that's easily digestible. Now, great brands will be able to play a role in society greater than just selling their product, and that will likely pay off in the long term. The hardest question you're going to have to ask yourself is how. Look at your corporate social responsibility here. Look at Hyped. We're actively decided to fully immerse ourselves in girls' football within Surrey. Unfortunately, this isn't going to change the world, but we are encouraging more female players to play. And as these children get older, they're going to remember us, their parents are going to remember us, and the Surrey FA are going to remember that support, hopefully giving us that long-term benefit. But at the end of the day, you should do and invest in things that are going to give you joy as well. There's also loads of companies out there who are supporting their local community through providing meals to the vulnerable, everything around the childcare schemes at the moment where they've been talking about stopping free meals. Those businesses and individuals are going to be the ones that are remembered. Some of the best messaging I have seen this year as well, that comes off the back of this, is that it's those who have acknowledged the pandemic and not just ignored it, but chosen to use a more positive message. Let's talk about the future. Unfortunately, money is on everybody's mind. We have dipped into a slight recession, even though today we have had some good news that we're starting to recover. You need to work out how you can communicate and provide solutions that are cost effective, as money is on the mind. Imagery is a really interesting one, but it's important to developing your brand. I don't know if it's only just me, but I'm finding it super odd watching TV and movies at the moment where everybody's like intermingling, nobody's social distancing. It's just odd. However, just like your messaging, your imagery and your colorways are the visual personality of your brand. I'm going to have to say, we're all past the posting out of Zoom screenshots of the team now. The world's moving on. Everybody needs to move on from this. It's old news. Everybody's working from home. We're over it. But as your business changes and develops, you want to ensure your imagery stays consistent with the messaging and that target audience. Plus, you don't want to look outdated. I found a lot of brands have had success showing the real people within their businesses, which is true to us. Especially now we're all home working. It is easier said than done, but it does pay off in the long term. And also just be mindful of changes in staff with the pictures that you're posting out. Another thing that is also a lot easier said than done is trying to reduce the amount of stock images there is. So there's this one lovely model. She's got a beautiful smile. She's wearing a polka dot blue top with white little spots on. But as I've been researching, I've seen numerous websites with her on, like everywhere. She's everywhere. And I know I do a lot of research into companies, but it doesn't take much for somebody looking, let's say, for example, a technology place looking to go and get a new phone system and seeing the same image on all of those competitors' websites. Doesn't look great. But like I say, there's nothing wrong with stock images to use them, but try and dig deep, find something a little bit more unique, or look at them, take inspiration, amend them slightly, or try and use your own. Podcasts and videos. So when it comes to video, you have different levels of time that people are willing to give your brand, depending on where they are within your cycle. So awareness is up to 60 seconds, like the one I did today on LinkedIn. Desire and interest can be up to a couple minutes, but when people are really invested, they're willing to give your content up to 5 to 7 minutes. Video content, such as the stories and reels and Instagram TV, are immensely popular with consumers. Many companies are now starting to dip their toes into the world of podcasts, which provide an excellent platform for sharing industry insights as well as more personal thoughts. And over the pandemic, I've noticed that Spotify has really changed its focus and they're looking at podcasts and promoting these more. This is probably due to more people being at home, having less human contact, so that the uptake in podcasts is massive. So it's a really good way for them to focus their messaging. So as well as companies taking up this form of communication to speak and gain knowledge through the industries, they're providing educational content for their prospects and clients, which again is going to be helping cement them as an authority within their market. So I know it can be daunting first to start getting into these things. I've been doing it for a year. I still make mistakes. It happens. But it's a great way, like I said before, for everybody to see your brand, see the human element. It's going to build up that trust and confidence in you so much quicker. And trust me, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the top tip from me, I found a great way to get comfortable talking at something rather than people. So start using voice notes on your phone, send them to friends and family, and also use your phone to do memos. It just gets you into that habit of talking at nothing, and it can help develop and stop you having the ums and the ers as much. So definitely, as I just said, so definitely do it again. Now, we've developed the brand, we've got a bit of a plan in place. Now, how is this going to funnel down into our campaigns and help shape those initial pillars as we move away from being reactive from this year and start being proactive within our marketing? Let's look at the digital focus. Now, think about how you can reach your customers digitally this year, where you may have previously used those traditional focuses. For example, Christmas cards, they go to clients, prospects, all of that kind of stuff. Why not send out e-cards? They can be interactive, they're more eye-catching, you can personalize them just as much, but you have more control about when your audience sees them. It's going to land straight in their inbox, you know when it is, and they're not going to be finding it on January the 5th when they've gone to do the post run in the office. I wouldn't overlook the smaller things as well when it comes to building these campaigns. For instance, if you're sending out bite-sized content to a written article on your website that educates your audience further, also look at using keywords to help with your search results on Google, or if you're on a landing page, if that's where you're directing them. So let's give an example. We are just penning out a campaign launch in January where we're promoting our new marketing audit tool, which is going to be so exciting. If anybody does want to have a go at it, run through it with me, please do send me a message after this. I would love to hear from you and get something in the diary. But we, as a family, first of all, are going to use social media for awareness. And then we're going to drive people directly to the tool and also direct them to written articles that will have a link through to the tool as well. But we're going to talk about why having a marketing audit is so important for businesses, how it can support your business. And then we're going to pitch that also out to various publications. What we're going to do here is implement a UTM tracking on all of our links to show them Google Analytics, so we can monitor the particular success of this campaign. And the beauty of focusing your efforts online is that you can use data to help dial things up and dial things down, depending on where you're seeing success, which you can't do with traditional. Now, your meaningful content. This is becoming more and more relevant. It's something that I talk about quite a lot, but it's coming up more in the ranks, so I should, especially now that it's COVID. So with everybody moving online, people are conscious how much time they're spending online now. And we need to make sure that our messages stand out as audiences are searching for that content. So meaningful content is content that educates, solves needs and answers questions. It's about acknowledging their audience's needs and problems. This content will support building trust with your market, creating them to be more than just that one-time shopper. Using emotive copy is going to be a great way for your messaging to resonate with your audience. For instance, using testimonials and reviews to help build that company's reputation, but it also means you don't have to do all the hard work behind it because you already have that content there. Spreading joy and not sales. We need to drop the hard sell in our communication in favour of something more empathetic to remind customers that we're all in the same boat. We need to have that right balance of sales versus educational and fun content. All of them are relevant and you need all three pieces, but focus on some. You need to have the right mix. You don't want to be boring and making your prospects bounce off because it's the same content regurgitated time and time again. Now, the end of this year is going to be really odd for everyone, with kind of the uncertainty of, are we going to be seeing our families for the festive seasons? So going that little bit extra mile for your clients and the local community and even your prospects, it's going to be what makes you stand out from the competition. Laughing like yawning is contagious, and I did triple check that fact. So have some fun whilst you're doing it. A simple competition where somebody comes in some donuts or win a voucher, it can help somebody take that break, make somebody's day, make them have a smile. It's the small acts that are going to remember this year, and they're hopefully going to have that long-term effect. So becoming proactive. 2020 has become a completely reactive year for marketing, digital transformation, and businesses due to the pandemic. Now is the time to start being proactive. Businesses have plans in place now to accommodate national and global lockdowns. I'm sure, like many of you to come, January is all about getting back on track, hitting those business objectives, but having that flexible plan. Use the next couple of months to start planning your campaigns. There's no point doing something in a rush manner. You want to set yourself KPIs, keep monitoring the results so you can hit those goals. Start highlighting your solutions during this time with the bite-sized content, building awareness of your cost-effective solutions and driving them down your sales funnel. My biggest tip here is start from the top and work your way down. So if you know that you already convert 80% of inbound leads and you're looking to increase this, look at how much you need to increase your traffic by. Pen it out, and then you can make this possible with your previous data. Alternatively, start doing campaigns with those specific target markets with focused messaging that's going to resonate with them. Remember, all of this ties into that brand messaging we spoke about. Use that messaging, see what works for them, test what they're going to like. It all comes into developing that campaign to what's going to work for you and get that return on investment. Now, if we're starting at the top, you want to go from your real top level. So we want to convert an extra 100 people a month. So how much is your website traffic going to be? Where is your website traffic coming in from? How can we increase more website traffic to then increase that conversion? So, okay, you can hear my Alexa going now. If anybody needs help with this, please do drop me a message. I'm more than happy to help and sit with you on the top level, go through this. That is absolutely fine. I'm going to have to turn my Alexa off somehow with my foot. So it all comes back to the data. Like I said, everything always does. If you are tracking your campaigns individually using those UTM tracking codes and making use of A/B and split testing, you'll be able to track your return on investment, identify how users are interacting with your brand and your website. And you want to be continuously making tweaks as you go to help improve your results. Now, many organizations have oodles of data and don't understand how to use this to their advantage to make those data-led decisions in order to make marketing work harder for them. If you don't want to employ an agency, but I think you should, there is loads of free online courses that can help you understand the data, such as Google Academy. Of course, they focus on all of the Google products, as well as SEMrush. They also have a free academy for people to come in. I strongly recommend, if you've got some free time, spending some time upskilling yourself in these areas. It's going to be really beneficial for your business so you can understand that data, make those decisions, and keep striving for those business objectives. It's all about tracking data results at the end of the day. So looking forward, what is next year going to bring for us? Where are we going to go? Let's reflect on what's happened over the last year. The pandemic's created a dramatic, explosive uptake of consumer digital services, commerce, all of that kind of stuff. So we need to think about, what does value mean to today's consumers? Businesses that have been innovative in this area, that is of digital commerce, such as Babylon Health, who provide virtual doctor's appointment, have been validated widely, and that is not going to go away. And then on the flip side, if you think of higher education and universities as a single brand, which has been another hot topic during the pandemic, they have been severely damaged by the pandemic, whereas the virtual education and more affordable models, such as the upskilling courses we just spoken about, have rocketed. So the major difference then between kind of now and 10 years ago is that people have steadily been growing more aware of ethical, environmental, and political decisions when they buy or choose their services and their providers. So all of the stuff that you're going to do is going to have that impact, supporting your local community, the way you're talking to people, all of that is going to have an impact on why people choose you. And especially as the millennials and Generation Z are coming more into the workforce and becoming higher up as decision makers, the way your brand is perceived is going to be massive. So just think about your corporate social responsibility and how you're supporting people, as it will be remembered, like 100%. And lastly, the visual storytelling is almost blurring the lines between marketing and design at the moment. Both of them are interacting to help people be engaged. Think about movement on websites, GIFs, videos. It's all blurring and working together to help keep those users engaged, which is fantastic. So I'm going to move on to the Q&A now, if anybody has any questions. I know it's been quite a full-on session today, so I'll just wait. So I won't really close the screen then, sorry. Looks like I've got a question from Helen. Cool. Yeah, so Helen's just asked about the courses again. You have Google Academy, which goes into kind of Google Analytics, AdWords, Google Search Console, whereas SEM Rush is a lot more broader. It looks at everything from the on-page SEO, PPC, through to content writing, that kind of thing. So yeah, really, really good. If anybody forgets, just drop me a message and I can ping you over the links to them. That's absolutely fine. Just give it a little bit longer. I'm sure if any questions popped up, that would have come through now. Fab. Well, I mean, thank you all so much for coming along and joining me this evening / afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure hosting it. I'm going to miss doing these, but hopefully there'll be a few more come Christmas time. Well, after Christmas, definitely. Come January time, you all know where I am. I will be uploading this onto YouTube. So please go take a look at our YouTube channel if you need to cover anything, and have a fabulous weekend. All right, thanks everyone.